For all its legendary status, the original Gothic 1 is a hard sell. Rightly lauded for its uncompromising design and brutal world building, its technical limitations leave you wrestling with the mechanics as much as grinding out survival in a brutal, pinned-in colony. Gothic 1 Remake, then, is about bridging gaps. It's less about simply rebuilding, more reinterpreting for modern expectations. So while the core experience is largely unchanged, systemic overhauls and presentation upgrades will fundamentally reshape how it feels to exist in this world. Deeper environmental storytelling. While the original Gothic relied heavily on implied detail, eschewing lore drops and quest markers in the process, Gothic 1 Remake embeds storytelling more overtly into its world. Environments now showcase clearer narrative meanings through visual clues and observable NPC routines, to weathered textures, a dynamic ecosystem where animals and monsters hunt each other, and other contextual details, making the Valley of Mines feel more lived in, relatable, and dangerous, while still maintaining the original's oppressive tone. Factions more culturally defined. Factions in the 2001 original were distinct, sure, but broadly defined through gameplay. The upcoming remake instead gives each camp a stronger cultural identity. By redefining each of their visual identities, moment-to-moment behaviors, and narrative altercations, keeping pre-established hierarchical structures and philosophies intact, the remake seeks to create a more cohesive world to get immersed in. Broader traversal. The remake expanded traversal mechanics, including both climbing and swimming. These even become skills that you can develop over time, feeding into exploration meaningfully, where sunken chests, submerged weapons, and other hidden rewards await. Expanded in-world economy and trading. Trading played a major role in the original Gothic, yet its barter system felt more functional than compelling. The upcoming remake expands the in-world economy by introducing dynamic trading systems, which simulates passive merchant trading outside of your economic actions. They'll exchange excess stock and raw materials, ensuring the market is consistently in flux. It appears real-life capitalism's supply and demand, where rising cost mirrors scarcity, is fully ingrained into the Valley of Mines, bringing a survival-driven element to your in-game activities. Reworked script and voice acting. The remake brings a reworked script with recorded voice acting. While German and Polish translations welcome back veteran actors from the original game, the English cast is an all-new ensemble who are poised to characterize the Valley of Mines denizens in a more grounded, serious, anti-fantasy tone than Remake's playable teaser. Adjustable difficulty settings. Key to Gothic 1's uncompromising aesthetic, the original game didn't include any adjustable difficulty settings. Instead, every player faced life in the colony with the same challenges as each other. While difficulty is indeed one of Gothic's defining traits, the remake introduces selectable difficulty levels, making the experience more universal for all skill levels. If you're a purist looking to suffer, the hardest selectable setting preserves the challenge that you remember. Early game pacing. Alongside a fixed challenge, the original Gothic is also renowned for its unapologetically steep learning curve, famously dropping players into its brutal world with little guidance. The upcoming remake, however, appears to soften this approach slightly, offering a more forgiving introduction to ease you into its systems. It'll still be set to tough as nails at the bottom of the food chain, but those elements we mentioned in our other 15 Things to Know feature, responsive controls, modernized combat, and so on, means the climb up the pecking order will feel achievable. Earlier access to magic. Becoming a skillful mage in both the original Gothic and the upcoming remake is something you work towards, with your first taste of magic coming during Chapter 2 of the original. In the remake, you'll gain access to magic earlier by using spell scrolls as a consumable item, opening up build variety and playstyle experimentation sooner regardless of your faction. Updated creature and armor design. While staying faithful to the original gritty, grounded designs, the remake reinterprets creatures and armor with modern, realistic fidelity. Predatory monsters in particular are now anatomically more formidable, with particle effects and dynamic animation showing that this enhancement goes beyond simply refreshing visual detail. Meanwhile, the appearance of armor has been overhauled, with a suite of all new modifications to tailor the look of your defensive garments, ensuring every piece feels distinctly personal. More reactive combat feel. Beyond the systemic changes we discussed in our other 15 Things preview feature, the remake's overhauled combat also addresses the original's notorious clunkiness with smoother animations, clearer sound cues, and responsive, more natural character movement. Transitions from standstill to attack are now seamless, while realistic foot movement replaces the immersion-breaking sliding in the original. The result is combat mechanics that appear more readable and reactive, while still maintaining that original's weighty feel. Expanded magic and alchemy. Much like the original, magic and alchemy in Gothic 1 Remake remains tied to progression, but both showcase a handful of modern twists. In magic's case, the remake allows you to move while firing lower-tier spells, eschewing the static casting of the original. Higher-powered spells still route you to the spot though. Now, as for alchemy, the remake significantly expands the system from the original's relatively straightforward healing and mana restoration. Now, you can brew potions with more potent effects, crafted by following specific recipes. You'll need to spend time gathering all of your ingredients, herbs, creature parts, and more, making alchemy a much more involved profession that will prove instrumental to survival in those later chapters. Richer crafting systems. And alchemy isn't the only crafting system Gothic 1 Remake is set to expand. Now, deeper weaponsmithing sees you maintain your blade at a grindstone, retaining its sell-on value while keeping its edges sharp. Cooking is now much broader of an activity too, with elaborate recipes and exotic ingredients to keep you busy beyond the original's simple meat roasting. These expanded systems aren't just there to give you more work, but they reinforce the survival aspects of life within this brutal colony. Ambient audio design. Sound design in the original Gothic was arguably ahead of its time, mixing parts of environmental Foley sounds and shifting musical motifs to create a dynamic web of audio instead of relying on standard looping tracks. The remake aims to recreate this groundbreaking feat of atmospheric ambiance with a richer sound palette and spatial audio for wildlife, weather, and human activity, adding an immersive, real-world feel to the colony's claustrophobia. Reimagined soundtrack. Gothic's original composer is back in the studio to reimagine the soundtrack for this upcoming remake. Serving as audio director, Kai Rosenkrantz is both remastering original music while producing all new tracks, recording with live instruments, which are set to match the game's more resonant emotional depth. Overall philosophy, recreation versus reinterpretation. Perhaps the biggest shift between Gothic 1 Remake and the original lies in philosophical intent. You see, the 2001 original is shaped by technical constraints, whereas the remake, by contrast, is a deliberate reinterpretation. Its aim appears to be to preserve the spirit of the original, while rethinking how its systems and world should function for a more modern audience.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.